Thanks so much for tuning into the NBA here on 2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's going to be the New York Knicks up against LeBron James and the Miami Heat. And now we send it out to American Airlines Arena. Kevin Clark and Steve are there, courtside, ready for tip-off.
It's an all-Eastern Conference affair this time for the traveling New York Knicks. Very excited to bring you this edition of our NBA broadcast here on 2K Sports. Clark, Doris, and Steve are with me. This is Kevin Harlan, and welcome to our broadcast of the NBA. Now let's check out the State Farm starting lineups. First for the New York Knicks. Billups and Fields pairing up in the backcourt. Stoudemire and Turioff in the middle. And it's Anthony in at the 3 spot. And for the Heat, LeBron and Bosh are the 3 and the 4. Chalmers and Wade are the 1 and the 2. And it's Anthony in at the 5.
Well, this is a Knicks team that has been built through free agency and trades. Of course, when you're in New York, you're a very attractive destination for free agents. And that's why they have gone that route rather than through the draft.
And so the tip-off, it's Miami. Wade with it. Wade left side. 6 to shoot. Chalmers against Billups. That's good. Chalmers has got the game going here with the first basket for the Heat. Never easy to trade picks away, as you were saying, Steve, but the Knicks, Clark made up for it last year by nabbing Fields in that second round.
Yeah, that was a big get. I mean, a really nice second-round pick for him, Kevin. The Knicks didn't draft Tony Douglas, but traded for him cheap, too, so even with moving their high picks, they still added some pretty good talent.
Donnie Walsh doing a pretty good job.
He's one of the best, has been for a long time.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Kevin, Mike D'Antoni and I got a chance to talk for just a bit. When we talked about what they'll try to do on defense, he told me they're going to have to do everything they can to neutralize their opponent's high flyers, saying, quote, "We can't play above the rim like these guys, so we'll have to do our best to keep them away from the hoop." Gentlemen, easier said than done.
Thanks, Doris. And that one's good by Billups.
Spoelstra was in a really odd and tough position last season. Never before had there been a bigger free agent talent swing, and he was tasked with getting 3 huge superstars to mesh as a unit. He's done a nice job.
Now, here's Chalmers. Gets it to go. Chalmers has got 5 points so far.
Living a little room service dime with that dish.
Back to Spoelstra because he was the first coach, Steve, to deal with that much talent. He had some very unique situations pop up along that road.
Well, he sure did, Kevin, and he had to coach that team under a microscope all season long. The basketball world was watching, and that Miami team went through some ups and downs, but in the end, I think Eric Spoelstra did a fantastic job, and he looks to be one of the bright young coaches in this league. And they're on fire. They've made 4 straight shots to get this thing going.
For the Knicks, it's been a slow start here. It's a 5-point game. Outside, Billups. Anthony backing him down. Back to Billups. Defended by Chalmers. Stolen by Bosh.
Boy, a nice job to get his hand in there and knock that ball loose without fouling.
And it's rejected. Knicks trailed by 5. Outside, Billups. Defended by Chalmers. It's Carmelo Anthony on the way. Over LeBron, and the Knicks good for 2.
I love how relentless he is. I mean, he just continues to come at you all night.
You know, the big 3 in Miami had a tremendous amount of success in year 1. They didn't reach the 70-win mark, which I think was crazy for people to be talking about anyway, but they still managed to get 58 of them.
Wade, a screen on Billups. Easy shot. Chalmers' shot is no good.
And not really the guy you want taking that shot there.
Outside, Billups. Stoudemire with a screen on Wade. Kicks it to Fields. There's the three, and the Knicks hit again from deep. Back to the Heat. 30 of those wins were at home. A very strong team, Steve, in Miami.
Well, that home record was good for third best in the Eastern Conference, and I think they're actually looking to improve on that record this year.
Now here's Bosch, looking for his first bucket of the game. Fields against Wade. Shoots over Fields. Wade gets the bucket.
I'm sure they're satisfied with that possession, guys. Very nice shot that time.
Anthony backing him down. Over James, and the Knicks getting another bucket right there.
Well, no defense there. I mean, he just takes the ball right to the rim.
Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. And here is Chalmers. 5 points in the game. Wade outside. Feeds to Chalmers. Jacks up a three. Carmelo Anthony comes up with the rebound. From deep. No good, trying to beat the buzzer. It's all tied in Miami. Back after this from the American Airlines Arena. And off we go, a close game now starting the second quarter. Here's Billups.
Well, Chauncey Billups, a very productive season a year ago. He's not the player he once was. He's still a guy who will step out, take a big shot, run his team well, and show great leadership.
Setting the floor for the Knicks. Anthony out there with Jeffries. Then it's Stoudemire. Then it's Walker. And it's Billups in at the point guard position. And Miami has possession. Following the score by New York. You're right, Steve. Billups did show leadership, and he did deal with some injury issues last season, too. Some torn ligaments in his wrist, Clark, an injured knee in the playoffs. The injuries did slow him down.
Yeah, and a lot of people would make the automatic jump that because he was injured and he's getting older, that those two things are connected, and going forward, you got to worry about it. Sure, you got to consider his age, but he's a great shooter. He's a terrific leader. He's a championship caliber player. And if he's healthy, he's still got some really good basketball left in him, because, again, he's one of those guys whose game isn't predicated on overwhelming athleticism. It's about smarts, toughness, skill, and if your body's good, you can play that game a long time.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Well, thank you, Kevin. For Dwayne Wade, he said he's comfortable with the feelings that the formation of the Big Three caused. He said, quote, "It's a love-hate thing, but the opportunity was too great to pass on." He said, as an individual, you don't get an opportunity to do that often in this game. That's what it came down to with us. Me, Chris, and LeBron. We all felt for the first time we were able to control our own destiny. And guys, they may have just changed the way the NBA does business. Back to you.
Doris, thank you. They, LeBron, Wade, and Bosch, struck when the iron was hot to form that team. There's no doubt.
And even though they came up short last season, they'll be a title contender, I think, for the next 5 years or so, barring injury. Hard to pass on the chance for that kind of sustained excellence.
Here's Stoudemire, and again it's New York.
In 2005, with the Phoenix Suns, Mike D'Antoni was Coach of the Year. The Knicks brought him in to bring some of that winning formula he had in the desert to the Big Apple, and it finally paid off last year.
Now here's Wade. He's picked up by Walker. Kicks it out to LeBron. Shoots the three. The shot's good on the assist by Wade. 8 points for LeBron. And so here's New York. Jeff Clarkey made the playoffs, and Mike D'Antoni had them playing some good up-tempo ball. Steve, did you like it? Did it fit what they had there? What was your overall feel on what D'Antoni did when he had a full roster?
Well, he had a tough job because the roster changed so dramatically with the Carmelo trade. But I like it. I think the style suits the personnel and vice versa. And I think this has a chance to be a very good team in the NBA this year.
And that one's good. It's a tie ball game.
Guys, you're not going to get away with that kind of defense when he's got the ball. I mean, you got to do better than that.
Here is Jeffries. Anthony backing him down. Puts it up and blocked. Stoudemire kicks to Billups. It's good from the top of the key. Billups has got 10 points in the game.
Boy, I like the fluidity I'm seeing from them on offense. It's a thing of beauty. Fun to watch.
Yeah, it is. They're moving the ball well, finding the open man, making that extra pass. They're playing very unselfishly right now.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game.
Well, I tell you what, the Knicks are not a team that puts fear into you when they hit the road. But they weren't the same pushovers they were in the years past.
A different look for Miami. Joel Anthony's checked in for LeBron. Miller comes in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Chalmers in for Eddie House. And then for New York, Ronny Turiaf is checked in for Stoudemire. Sean Williams checks in for Jared Jeffries. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Chauncey Billups. Here's Bosch. There's the dish to Chalmers. Douglas with the steal. Here's Anthony, and he caps off the fast break with a monster slam.
Only question there was who was going to finish it. Easy, fast break.
Yeah, you know what, and I think they made the right call there, Steve. You know, I think in Tony Douglas, the Knicks got a great find in the 2009 draft. He was the 29th pick, pretty gutty defender, but a terrific scorer.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, Kevin, some may have questioned Coach Eric Spoelstra throughout the 2010-2011 campaign, but LeBron James was sold from the get-go. His quote towards Spoelstra, "I have Coach Spo's back," or whatever the case may be. James said, "This is who we have." Sounds like he's confident enough, Kevin.
All right, Doris.
Yeah, I think Eric Spoelstra did a really good job under very difficult circumstances a year ago. And by the end of the season, I think he really earned the trust of those players.
Clark talking about Tony Douglas on a Florida State, a combo guard, Steve, and he's not a great playmaker yet, but he does do a great job of limiting his turnovers.
Well, he understands his limitations as a point guard, but he really focuses on his outside shot offensively. He's shooting about 38% from long range for his career, and a guy who can get extremely hot pretty much any time. Very streaky shooter.
Now here's Douglas. Pass to Anthony. 6 on the shot clock. And Bosch picks him up defensively. And again, it's Carmelo Anthony. And it's a 9-point Knicks lead.
Boy, he's been so cool out there. Composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
And the Heat call time here.
You knew the big three when they came together, guys, that they would be good. But they did a pretty decent job, I thought, of finding complementary players to fill out the roster after a big chunk of the salaries went to the big three.
And the Heat with some changes. Juwan Howard's checked in for Bosch. LeBron comes in for Udonis Haslem. Eddie House subbed in for Mike Miller. And then for New York, Jeffries comes in for Carmelo Anthony. And Landry Fields subbed in for Bill Walker. 35 seconds left in the first half. Chalmers passes to LeBron. Clock at 6. Passes it to Chalmers to end the drought. The Knicks pull it in. Fast break, here we go. And Fields kicks to Douglas. Defended by Chalmers. It's Fields outside. Good. Fields has got 6 points.
Boy, that is a sweet feed from his teammate there.
And so we wrap up the first half. Live from Miami, we're back in a moment.
Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Damon Bruce. It's time for HP at the half. New York leading against Miami. Close-range shots, their bread and butter early on, a gigantic lead in points in the paint. It's been a Carmelo Anthony clinic in this one against Miami. He's got 10 points and a few assists, making nice plays for himself and others. And on the other side, Miami's still scrapping. They've done all the little things, made all the hustle plays, and that's been the difference. LeBron is their leading scorer, and they've got a big boost from Dwayne Wade as well. And now back to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K broadcast crew for the beginning of the third quarter.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. Here's Billups. Wade and LeBron are the wingmen. Chris Bosh is out there with Joel Anthony, and it's Chalmers in at the 1. That's the group on the floor for Miami. Up with it, and he lays it straight in. Bosh has got the first basket of the third quarter for the Heat.
And Chris Bosh, not really a traditional low-post scorer. His strength lies in his face-up game. He'll turn and use his quickness to get around bigger defenders and get to the rim.
Here is Turioff. Back to Billups. Now the pass to Stoudemire. It's blocked. The Heat trail by 10 for the finish.
Wow!
Phenomenal play. Now the replay from the Sprite Slam King.
Not bad there, Kevin. I won't lie. He got my attention with that.
Well, not just yours. He got everybody's attention.
Yeah, there's like a sense of disbelief in this building after watching that.
You know, speaking of Bosh's quick first step, Clark, he also has a great mid-range jump shot. And that's a tough choice if you're going to defend him.
Yeah, it really is. And I think early last season he may have settled for his jump shot a little too often. But again, getting acclimated to where he was, and obviously your personnel affects how you try to play, especially when you're your team's top scorer and rebounder. He was being more aggressive trying to get inside, and I think that at the end of the season that really gave him a boost.
And the Knicks decide to take their first time out here.
You got to wonder, has Miami set off a bit of an arms race in regards to talent with what they were able to pull off last year? Are other teams going to look to stack stars just to try to keep up?
Jared Jeffries, he's checked in for Ronny Turioff. Here's Billups. He's got 10. Mark, you brought up the stars wanting to play with each other. You know, Steve, it seems like that is the trend now in the NBA.
Well, I think every player wants to play with great players. It's all circumstantial, really. If you're a free agent and there's a team with cap room and you've got a partner who you want to play with and you can work it all out like Miami did, then that's great. But I think those circumstances are going to be few and far between.
Here's LeBron after the made shot from Carmelo Anthony. The shot's good from LeBron.
They continue to barrel their way inside, and when's the defense going to adjust?
Well, I'm asking the same question myself, partner. I mean, that's 8 points out of their last 10 coming inside.
Now here's Billups. Here's the three, and Anthony gets it to go on the assist by Billups. 15 points for Carmelo Anthony.
Well, another uncontested three there. They've got to make some kind of an adjustment. I mean, they're giving up way too many open threes.
Well, the last 5 hoops, 3 have come off wide open three-pointers, Clark. So it's one thing to give up one, but you start giving three-pointers up in bunches, you're in big trouble.
The Knicks leading by 9. The tray. And no one able to grab it as it goes out of bounds.
Kevin, the results were somewhat mixed once the Knicks acquired Carmelo Anthony. They finished the season 14-14 after the trade and, of course, got swept in the first round by the Celtics.
Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Joel Anthony. Bill Walker, he's checked in for the Knicks. Douglas comes in for Chauncey Billups. Wade dishes to LeBron. Bosh, the screen. Bosh, a screen on Stoudemire. Shot clock at 6. Knocked away. Stoudemire grabs the miss.
Oh, he had a great look at that, but really good defense contesting that shot.
Anthony with the screen on Chalmers. Douglas kicks to Anthony. Haslam's there. The 10-footer. Anthony's shot is off. But Clark, you mentioned the playoff series between the Knicks and the Celtics. Carmelo struggled with his shot. Steve, just 37% from the field.
Well, the Celtics are a very good team defensively. And I think for Carmelo, remember, he had to take on a lot of the scoring load because of the back injury to Amari Stoudemire. So I thought Carmelo played well, but the defensive focus of Boston was completely on him.
Here's Douglas. 1:04 left in the third. Defended by Chalmers. Chalmers is tagged with the reach. That's his first foul. A different look for Miami. Joel Anthony is checked in for Bosh. And Mike Miller subbed in for LeBron. The Knicks also changing it up. Sheldon Williams checks in for Stoudemire. Sean Williams checks in for Jared Jeffries. And Chauncey Billups is subbed in for Carmelo Anthony. Now here's Billups. He's got 10. Douglas. Over Wade. It's a little short, but gets the friendly roll. Here's Chalmers. There's 39 seconds left to play in the third. He passes it to Wade. Haslam a screen on Douglas. He took good advantage of that screen. Wade's got 6 in the quarter.
He took advantage of that pick, and he did the rest, knocking down the J.
Billups kicks to Williams. Now Anthony defending. Outside Williams. Poked away. Out of bounds. And they'll keep possession. Here is Douglas. 6 to shoot. Here's Walker. Wade with the block. Here's Chalmers. And no good trying to get that one. And that's it for the third quarter. Both teams scoring well as we head to the fourth. Carmelo Anthony really has his fingerprints all over this one.
Now, it's been nothing but positive for this team. The way he's been really selective with his shot making. He's been very unselfish. I think this has been an efficient performance for him.
I agree with you, Steve. Very few questionable decisions, if any, from him, as he has always looked for the best shot every trip down the floor. I mean, I like the fact that he's judicious in his approach.
Knicks lead by 7. While we're still getting underway here in the fourth, let's go down to Doris Burke, who has our Sprite Spark of the Game report. Doris?
Hey, Kevin. Well, our spark of the game goes to the Knicks for that major surge. Everything started falling for them in the second quarter, and that is when they took over this basketball game. They'll look to close things out here in the final quarter of play.
Doris, thanks. That run, Clark, really propelled them.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, it got their confidence up and gave them the kind of swagger you like to see in the team.
Yeah, it gave them the edge for sure, because look at the opponent. I mean, they are kind of down on themselves right now. The body language, not where it needs to be.
Okay, now let's reset our lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for this fourth quarter. On the court for the Knicks. Sean Williams is out there with Stoudemire. Then it's Walker. Then there's Chauncey Billups. And it's Douglas in at the 2-guard spot. Outside Billups. Now here's Walker. He's guarded closely.
That's how you have to play him. That's paying attention to the scouting report. Get up in him and bother his shot.
Yep, get in his airspace. Don't give him any room to get that shot off. Great defensive effort.
Again, the Heat good for 2.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
Now here's Billups. Left side, Billups. Williams passes to Billups. Over House. Billups with the bucket. And the Knicks lead by 5.
Well, they've got to do something defensively because he's been unstoppable.
And defensively, Steve, your only choice now is to double him. I mean, I don't think there's another option.
Timeout called, the Heat.
Well, the big story for the Knicks this past year was the acquisition of Carmelo Anthony. Having already signed Amari Stoudemire, the Knicks made the deal for Anthony and all of a sudden had one of the great 1-2 combinations in the league.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Guys, over that last break, I listened to Eric Spoelstra address his team. He told them, hey, they're running the break on us, so let's give them a taste of their own medicine. Let's run them ragged. The tempo should be up, guys, and this could get interesting.
And the Heat going with the whole new group on the floor. And then for New York, Ronny Turioff, he's checked in for Stoudemire. Jeffries comes in for Tony Douglas. And Carmelo Anthony's subbed in for Bill Walker. Bosh, a very friendly bounce off the back iron. Here's Billups. Here is Jeffries, covered by Ilgauskas. The 3 from Anthony, and it's good.
Oh, they're getting scorched by all these open threes they're giving up.
Yeah, it's really been the biggest pitfall for this club so far tonight. So many wide open looks for the opponent.
And Chalmers kicks to Wade. Williams picks him up. Now, here's Ilgauskas. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Chalmers, and the 3 ball is good.
And a 3 the other way.
Back and forth we go, neither side giving an inch.
Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over. A different look for Miami. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Ilgauskas. LeBron comes in for James Jones. Eddie House subbed in for Mario Chalmers. The Knicks also changing it up. Amari Stoudemire, he's checked in for Turioff. Walker comes in for Sean Williams. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Chauncey Billups. Now Douglas. Anthony backing him down. Puts it up. Drops it in from 12 feet. Anthony's got 5 points now this quarter.
Both of these teams have really stepped it up offensively.
You know what, Steve? They haven't missed a chance, and I think both teams really know what's at stake on every possession here.
Stoudemire with the double team. House dishes to LeBron. He dishes it to Bosh. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. 10 points for Chris Bosh.
Guys, he's really shot the ball well. It's definitely not his fault they find themselves trailing in this one.
New York calls timeout. They're winning by 3. We've got 1:55 left in the game. The Heat making the switch here. Chalmers is checked in. Then for the Knicks, Sean Williams checks in for Jeffries. And Chauncey Billups is subbed in for Milwaukee. Here's Anthony. He's guarded by Haslam. Anthony drawing the double team. Dishes it to Stoudemire. He feeds it to Douglas. Clock at 4. Shot, high post. Book it. 22 points for Carmelo Anthony.
Well, he's smart. He's getting good shots, and he's knocking them down.
And the Heat call time here. They trail by 5. 1:30 left in the fourth. .30 left in the fourth quarter. Wade against Douglas. Good look. And Bosh gets it to go on the assist by Wade. Wade's got his 5th assist in this one.
Finally getting into rhythm here in the game after that cold first half.
Outside Anthony. That's good with a Douglas assist. Douglas has got 3 assists now in this one.
He's got the touch they needed here as this one goes down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 4 for 4, and he knows they need every basket. I would look for them to continue to get the ball in his hands.
It's a look. It's in! What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Boy, you got to love that assist by LeBron.
Less than 1 minute left. Douglas with it. Six on the shot clock. It's Carmelo Anthony on the wing. He's guarded by Haslam. Shot's good by Anthony.
He is red hot. I'm not sure how you slow him down.
I'm not either, Steve. Whatever they're throwing at him, it's not working.
Sinks it. What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Kevin, that's what you expect from him. When the pressure's at its highest, with the game on the line, that's when he's at his best.
Shot and game clock separated by 5. And here's Douglas. Anthony backing him down. There's the triple. And the Knicks hit again from deep.
They've really executed well here offensively.
Well, it's going to take a major catastrophe, a colossal collapse, for them to not walk away with the win.
And the Heat call time here. They're behind by 6. 8 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Guys, what's your take?
Well, there's a little bit of time here to play with, so a 3 and a quick foul could make things interesting.
Very much so. Either way you cut it, they're going to need a pair of threes and some help at the other end as well.
Seconds left to play here in the fourth. Goes up the baseline. Nails it!
Smart move with that mismatch he's got.
You know what? That extra advantage sure pays off on the mid-range jumper.
So a close game sees New York take this one. Well, they don't get much more exciting than that, Clark.
They sure don't. And when it was gut check time, this team kept their composure, kept their emotions in check, and got it done.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark, Steve, and Doris, and the rest of the crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Last but not least, here is your Jordan Player of the Game, Carmelo Anthony.